Hello, everybody. I'm Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we show films from the avgeeks collection. That last film was silent, and it's from the Oregon archive, which is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we went up and helped scan a bunch of their films, and then they came down, and we scanned even more films. And a bunch of them are from the Mogul Brothers collection, which was a collection based in New York City, and it was like a film library where you could check out the films. Individuals could, or schools or civic organizations could check out the films. And so that one was made in 1921, but obviously not made on 16 millimeter, because 16 millimeter didn't really start existing until 1923. So it was shot on 35, and then they reduced it down to 16. And so a lot of the films from the Mogul Brothers collection are like that. They're stuff that was shot earlier, and then they reduced it down. Now, whether or not Mogul Brothers had permission to do it is a good question. Who knows? But there's a lot of stuff in there. Also, a lot of really odd compilation reels where it's about nature, but then it's like obviously shot from different places, and somebody just kind of put it together. And in some cases, there's even intertitles that have different styles because they just, literally just someone's like, I'm going to make a film about raccoons, and pulled all this from different places. So interesting stuff. Let's see. Somebody just asked, nitrate? No, 16 millimeter was never really nitrate. It was pretty much the beginning of safety film, which was acetate or diacetate or triacetate, which was not flammable. 35 at the time was nitrate, and was nitrate cellulose was the base, and it is very flammable. All right, let's. Nitrate cellulose is often made from cotton, is one of the bases, or wood. So here's cotton in today's world. Today's world being probably the 40s or 50s.
Of the many different kinds of plants that man grows for his use, cotton is one of the most important. Man's use of cotton is worldwide, and the crop is grown in many different lands. Here is a woman carding cotton in a village in West Africa. A man adjusts a power loom in Mexico. And in Brazil, workers pick ripe cotton. Indonesian children wear shirts and shorts of cotton. And in the United States, a garment worker cuts cotton cloth. The cotton industry in India is very old, for cotton has been grown in India for centuries. Cotton, one of the world's oldest crops, was grown in India as early as 2500 BC on the banks of the Indus River. The ancient city of Mohenjo-Daro in the Indus Valley may have been the place where cotton was first grown and used by men. In Egypt, too, cotton has a very long history. Ancient sculptures and paintings in Egypt show men wearing short tunics of cotton, as we see in this model. From the ancient lands of the East, knowledge of the uses of cotton spread around the Mediterranean and across Europe to England. By the late 1700s, the cotton textile industry was flourishing in many parts of England. In America, it was an Englishman, Samuel Slater, who built the first cotton mills. Cotton for American mills came from the southern United States, where the climate was best suited for growing it. Most southern farmers produced only a small annual crop, because of the tiresome task of having to remove the cotton seeds from the fibers by hand. For centuries, seeds had been removed in this slow, tedious way. Then, in 1793, a seed-removing machine was invented by Eli Whitney. He called it the cotton engine, or cotton gin. The cotton gin mechanized the removal of seeds, helping to make possible the processing of greater amounts of cotton and the growing of cotton on larger and larger plantations. The development of the plantation system brought wealth to many planters and enabled them to live prosperously. So vital was the cotton trade to their economy that the planters called it king cotton. Through the long history of this plant, growers have developed many different types of cotton. Among these varieties, there are differences in the length of the fibers and in the sturdiness of the fibers. These 6 varieties of cotton are among those grown by the world's leading cotton-producing countries. The United States leads all other countries, producing about 15 million bales per year. Other major world producers are the Soviet Union, India, Mexico, China, Egypt, and Brazil. The lead of the United States in world production depends mainly upon its fertile cotton belt, stretching across a vast portion of the southern United States. Some of the small farms in the cotton belt still depend on hand labor to harvest the crop. Cotton which is grown for hand picking is usually picked 2 or even 3 times during the year. Although hand picking is still done in the cotton belt, most of the work today is done by machines. A mechanical picker can pick as much cotton in 1 hour as can 7 average hand pickers in 1 day. But the work of growing the cotton with the help of machines begins long before the cotton harvest. Before planting cotton in the spring, the stalks of last year's crop are cut up and left to decay, thus adding humus to the soil. After plowing, the soil is further broken up by using a harrow. Finally, the field is ready for planting. Once again, planting is a job that is done with the help of a machine. The machine is loaded with fertilizer, as well as with cotton seeds. Planters try to choose the type of seed which they know will grow best in their particular area. One type of planting machine plants the cotton seed, fertilizes the seed, and closes the furrow in one operation. Where rainfall is insufficient, irrigation is used for growing cotton. West Texas and California are producing large amounts of cotton on irrigated land. As the cotton plants grow, they are thinned out by using a hoe in a process called chopping. Chopping is still done in many places by hand. On large farms, when machines do planting that is evenly spaced, the young plants do not have to be thinned out. Cotton grows best in a humid subtropical climate with a rainfall of 20 to 60 inches per year. After the plants have been thinned out and continue to grow, they must be weeded. This is sometimes done by hand. But machine cultivators are also used to keep down the weeds between the rows of cotton plants. Before the cotton plants are mature, they produce beautiful white blossoms. Just below each flower, after it has bloomed, there is a slight swelling. This is the developing cotton boll. To protect the bolls, the fields are dusted with various kinds of insect poison. Low-flying planes are often used to spray insecticide which will kill the cotton boll weevil. The eggs of this insect are laid on the cotton plant. When the larvae hatch, they eat into the boll, destroying the cotton fibers. Before harvesting, fields are sometimes dusted with a chemical that destroys the leaves of the plants, leaving the ripened bolls. This simplifies machine picking. Each plant may produce 100 or more bolls in a season. Each boll consists of 3 to 5 sections, each section containing both the fluffy cotton fibers and cotton seeds. Now the cotton is ready to be picked. Machine picking is done on nearly all the large farms. This kind of mechanical picker has turning spindles which collect the cotton. After the whirling spindles pick the bolls, they are blown into a large bin at the rear of the picker. After picking, the cotton seeds are removed by huge modern gins. Then the cleaned cotton is pressed into bales, weighing about 500 pounds each. Now the baled cotton fiber is ready for the cotton markets and mills of the world. This cotton may go to a textile factory to be spun into thread on mechanical spindles. Then it may be woven into cloth that is cut up, and later sewn into cotton dresses and other cotton wear. Some cotton is made into string, or many other household and business products. Cottonseed oil is also useful in making products such as soap and cooking oil. In the lives of millions of people in many lands, cotton, one of man's oldest crops, continues to play an important part in today's world.
So I might be wrong in saying that cotton was used in making nitrate cellulose. I'm still kind of reading this article. I think the confusion is that nitrate cellulose was often called gun cotton when it was made for like munitions, and so that's why I thought, because it looks like cotton. Film stuff. I'm gonna have to do more research here. But this was back in the late 1800s, 1890s. Anyways, let's watch a film that I have set up. I haven't seen this. It's called the Library Art of Guidance. So let's see if we can guess what we think that this is about. Is this about the reference desk? Is this... Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting title. So here we go.
Anyone using a public library, large or small, is in a sense looking for reading guidance, one of the basic library services. The displays of magazines and books, the reading lists, The very arrangement of the library collection on the shelves brings books to the reader's attention and suggests titles or subjects he may wish to pursue. But not every reader will find his interests or needs reflected in the lists or exhibits, and he may need help in finding what he seeks. If he is aware that he needs help, he may turn to the librarian. Reference service may quickly answer the reader's questions when facts are needed. When the reader's problem is uncomplicated by personal needs, the reference approach to information is dictated. But in other situations, reading guidance may be called for to suggest a variety of resources from which the reader may choose according to his interests and taste. Unlike reference service, reading guidance requires greater consideration of the reader's purpose and background. The librarian must quickly assess the reader, his interests and abilities, in order to suggest the best material from which the reader will make his choice. With this knowledge of the reader, the librarian may draw upon the entire resources of the library to build and support the reader's interest.
Excuse me? I'm looking for some basic information on Ghana.
Certainly. This volume should have a section of summary on Ghana's topography, political organization, yes, even a bibliography.
There isn't really too much here about life in Ghana today. You see, my brother is going to Ghana soon, and my entire family, we're interested in Ghana.
Oh, of course. Right over here we have a special collection of books that brings together some history, travel, and fiction on Africa. There are several titles over here that are concerned with Ghana. You might be interested in looking at this book. And also this one. And
The librarian must be prepared to move easily from one type of service to another with the same reader. This reader wasn't looking for facts available from a general reference book, but for the background information in good books of travel and biography, which the reader's advisor could help in choosing. Not all reading guidance is so simply done. Some readers have problems they cannot define, or problems so personal they do not wish to reveal them fully to the librarian. The task of the librarian in reading guidance, then, is to identify the significant problem and to deal with the personal problems impersonally.
Oh, I'm returning a book. I guess I need your help in choosing the next one for my 8-year-old.
Okay.
I guess we need a book with more action. He can't seem to concentrate anymore.
I'm sure we can find a book he'll enjoy. Won't you sit down and let's talk about it?
Well, Tommy seems to just page through his books. Can't really seem to get involved in a story. He just doesn't really read anymore.
I see.
I mean, he's really been having quite a lot of problems, temper tantrums and crying spells, too. I don't know if this is really normal. Actually, what I probably need is something for myself at this point. As an elementary school teacher, I thought I understood children rather well, but now I realize my own youngster poses some problems.
You probably would be interested in a book strictly from the parent's point of view, then.
Yes, I think so.
Let's take a look over here. Here we are. Now let's see. No. You'll probably recognize the Gazelle Institute.
Oh, yes.
There's a good section in here on tension, one on the child's interpersonal relations, one on discipline.
This is what we need.
Okay.
I think my husband would like to read something on discipline, too.
Mhm.
We really don't know how to manage Tommy at this point.
Here's a pamphlet on discipline that both you and your husband might be interested in. It's a child study publication, and it points out the various views on discipline and on problems related to being too strict or too lenient.
I'd like this. We used to talk this over with a couple we knew, but now that we've moved here, we miss all that.
You know, there is a parents' discussion group that meets at the Child Guidance Center here in town. As newcomers, you might be interested.
That sounds fine.
Okay. I can give you Mrs. Adams' phone number if you'd like to get in touch with her.
Fine.
Now you might just like to browse among these books. And let me know when you need help in finding a book for Tommy, okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We have been concerned here with the task of the librarian in reading guidance. Several principles are involved in this process. First, the librarian must assess the reader's purpose and background and identify the problem.
Probably what you'd be interested in is a book strictly from the parent's point of view.
We really don't know how to manage Tommy at this point.
Secondly, the librarian deals with the personal problems impersonally and respects the confidential nature of the client's request. Further, the library materials must present a variety of viewpoints and have direct bearing on the reader's problem. Finally, the librarian inquires into the problem only so far as the reader is ready to go. In applying these principles of reading guidance, the librarian must constantly check his interview skills and his sensitivity to the reader's needs. In this case, for example, what persuaded the reader to discuss her problem with the librarian? How useful was this service to her? These are questions the librarian must ask as she thinks over her brief encounter.
Couldn't remember where I got that film from, and thanks to the Charlotte Mecklenburg library system, I now know. It's very annoying what they did there, and they do this with almost every single film that I got from their collection, where they splice in, let me see if I can rewind it so you can see it. This motion picture is an educational service provided by the Public Library of Charlotte, Mecklenburg County. They splice it in before the end credits. So I don't know if they thought that somebody was stealing and they wanted to just, whoever was stealing it was clipping the very end. I don't know, but it's very disruptive, especially because you have content that sometimes after that's important, and you're disrupting the flow with that horrible message. But the thing about this collection that I got, I was told that Charlotte is about 3 hours from here. My family all live in the Charlotte area. And I was told that they were having a film sale, but I wasn't going to be able to make it to it. So I reached out to the person who was selling the films, and I said, hey, I'm definitely interested in the films, but go ahead and try to sell what you got, and then I'll take whatever is left over for free. And it turned out I ended up getting a lot of films, including a copy of Quasi at the Quackadero, which is a great film, one of my favorite cartoons ever made, and including all this other amazing stuff. King is Dead, all these other things that are very rare. King is Dead is, I don't know who has a copy, but even the filmmaker doesn't have a copy of that film. And so the caveat, of course, is that they, for some reason, some schlep put this motion picture is an educational service provided by the Public Library of Charlotte and Mecklenburg County. Oh well, that's life. All right, what do we got here? I think at some point I said that we had finished, that there were no more Uncle Smiley films. But you know what? I did a kind of an audit. I'm going through and trying to look at the database that I have and what films we've shown. I'm trying to come up with an exhaustive list and update the database. And I realized we had not seen this film. And actually, I'm just going to check, just to make sure. I'll share the link to the actual list. But I don't think, we haven't shown this film. So, sorry, Rick K. Here we go. Uncle Smiley Goes Camping.
Uncle's the one who's always busy, they know. Too busy, so Uncle Smiley, get up and go. Uncle's the one, he's a barrel of fun. Jolly out, here he comes. It's the rolling around like a carnival clown. He's a part of the town. He's our Uncle Smiley. When there's a job to be done, Uncle is always the one. No matter what happens, it's bound to be fun. So Uncle Smiley, get up and go. So Uncle Smiley, get up and go.
Going camping with Uncle Smiley, we're all going camping. And while we're camping, there'll be lots of laughing with Uncle Smiley along. Going camping, got my knapsack and I'm going camping. Sleeping bags and tents are naval camping. We're glad you're coming along. Life is all around us growing. Feel the forest breezes blowing. Hear the gentle waters flowing. Imagine if it all were going away.
We're gonna tell you about the time Uncle Smiley took us on a camping trip. We all live in the city, so going camping is a pretty big deal for us. You know, Uncle Smiley really loves the country, flowers, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he loves animals and birds more than anybody I know.
Well, anyway, we all made up our minds to go camping the right way instead of like a lot of people do. You know, throwing trash everywhere and running around, breaking trees, scaring animals.
Yeah, when somebody does that, it ruins it for everybody else.
Uncle told us that he knew plenty about camping and that if we had any questions, just ask him. But he had some strange ways of doing things sometimes.
Yeah, he sure did. Wanted to do was go swimming. Boy, the water sure looked pretty. We wanted Uncle to come in too, but I guess he figured he'd spent enough time in the water already, so he just sat on the shore and watched us.
That was when Janie cut her foot, wasn't it?
Yeah. Do you remember how worried Uncle got?
You bet. He was so worried, he ran right in to see what happened.
Man, that river sure faked us out. It looked so clean and pretty at first.
Do you remember how much junk there was there? I can't figure people out sometimes. That broken bottle could have cut Janie's toe off. Boy, was she lucky.
Well, I wouldn't exactly call that lucky.
You know what I mean. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it could have happened to me.
Remember how mad we all got?
Yeah, that's when we decided to clean up all the junk.
Going swimming, campers everywhere are going swimming. Little boys and girls and men and women, we all need water for swimming. Imagine splashing in the very place you throw your trash in. The way it's going, it'll soon be fashion to take a dip in the dump. Life is all around us growing. Feel the forest breezes blowing. Hear the gentle waters flowing. Imagine if it all were going away.
Afterwards, Uncle went off by himself fishing. I think he goes fishing by himself because he really doesn't want to catch any fish, and he doesn't want anybody to know.
He never uses bait or anything.
Remember when he came back later, though?
Yeah, I wonder what happened.
Uncle was so dirty when he came back, he decided to wash his clothes.
In the river?
Poor Uncle's so absent-minded sometimes. He doesn't ever mean to do the wrong thing, he just forgets. When Tony saw what he was doing, he really got upset and told Uncle about how detergents can pollute the rivers and kill off the fish.
Uncle was so ashamed. He knew better than to do that. He just forgot.
He did his best, though, to try to clean up the mess afterward. But it's really hard sometimes to undo a mistake you've made.
A forest fire is a mistake you can't undo at all. And Uncle almost started one.
Was that ever scary?
We were all just coming back from a hike, and boy, were we in for a surprise. We showed Uncle the right way to build a campfire. Actually, he knew how, but he was tired and just wasn't thinking again.
We wanted to remind him because a fire is one thing you can't make a mistake with.
First, you've got to clear away all the dead leaves and twigs and burnable stuff.
And make sure there aren't any tree branches overhead that can catch fire.
Then you make a circle with rocks to keep the fire inside.
That keeps the burning ashes and stuff from rolling and blowing all over the place.
And don't make a fire that's bigger than you really need. A big fire is harder to stop if it gets out of control.
And never, ever cut down a living tree or branches to make firewood. There's no reason to kill trees like that.
Yeah, just use old dead wood, and there's usually plenty of it lying around, and it burns better anyway.
In the morning, we all woke up bright and chipper and ready to tackle the new day.
Except Uncle Smiley. I guess he must not have slept too well, 'cause all he did was go over to his hammock to lie down again.
After breakfast, Uncle wanted to go play ball in the meadow.
That was a real nutty game, because he kept making up new rules as he went along.
Going planting, just a way for us to say that we're thanking the plants and animals for what they're giving to you and Uncle and me. Can you imagine what could happen if we all went out planting and brought a tree the next time we went camping? Think how nice it would be. Life is all around us growing. Feel the forest breezes blowing. Hear the gentle waters flowing. Imagine if it all were going away.
After we planted the tree, it was time to go. Uncle said that the best way to leave a campsite is as though you'd never been there in the first place.
Before we broke camp, we separated all the cans and bottles and things we'd use to take back with us.
Then we gathered up all the paper and cardboard and stuff and burned it in the campfire. After we buried the ashes, we put the campfire stones back where we found them, but with the black burnt sides down.
And then we raked the ground smooth where the fire had been.
Golly, when we finished, we hardly knew we'd been there ourselves.
Yeah, that's how it ought to be when you go camping.
Time to go now, cleaning up in every way that we know how, making sure the grass and trees can grow now, like they did when we came. Just one more hint, don't leave anything behind but your footprint. Put back everything the way that you found it. Give Mother Nature a chance. Life is all around us growing. Feel the forest breezes blowing. Hear the gentle waters flowing. Imagine if it all were going away.
So that's it. There's no more. There were only 7 Uncle Smileys made, and we watched them all. I'm sorry. So there's a bit of a loss there. Although I know some of you really could not tolerate Uncle Smiley. I don't know if it was the hippy dippy songs, if it was the slapstick. I'm not sure what it was, but some people love them, some people really can't stand them. So thank you to William, Alex, and Scott Stiesel for coffee. It's good. I like coffee. It keeps us going here, and you can certainly buy us coffee at this link here that I'm pointing at. Also, you can hit like and subscribe, and you can go to avgeeks.com and see like other things that we've digitized and other things that we have available on DVD and things like that. The question I have is, I love showing these films to you guys, and we've been chugging away since last March doing this. But have I told you lately that I love you?
Telephone 172 3/4, up 3/4. American Airlines.
Alcoa 64 1/8, up 3/8. American Telephone 172 3/4, up 3/4. American Airlines 17 3/8, up 1/2. American Potash 38 3/4, up 3/8. American Tobacco 77 3/4, up 1 1/4. Anaconda 42 1/4, up 1/4. Armor 12 3/8, up 1/8. Atchison 18 7/8, up 1/2. Baltimore, Ohio 25 1/2, up 5/8. Bethlehem Steel 39, up 1/4.
$77 3/4, up 1 1/4. Anaconda 42 1/4, up 1/4. Armor 12 3/8, up 1/8.
All right, Marty, get up. It's time to get up, Marty.
Most of the freeways inbound are flowing at about 70% capacity. We'll be standing by here above the freeways in the KLRB helicopter, and we'll bring you another report when traffic reaches its expected peak. Operation Traffic Watch now returns you to the station, and Herb Ronson with Freeway Frolic.
Thank you, Bill. We'll be hearing from you again later. And Now back to the musical portion of our show today, bringing you recordings from the Roaring Twenties.
Call for Quincy 749. Call for Quincy 749.
Hello?
Miss Nelson, it's Wilford McClellan. I wonder if you'd stop by on your way to the office.
Okay.
Can you hold the line a minute?
Mr. Bartlett speaking. Edgar Davis with Acme. I'm calling to find out if your policy regarding the splitting of issues. New York quotes out at 23, which is a bit more than we can afford to.
Hello? No, we couldn't possibly arrange it for today. I'm sorry, why don't you call back tomorrow?
Nelson, we need to take immediate action on the arson that remarked on Mrs. Paget. See that it's taken care of.
Memo to Harry Schaefer. In regards to Mrs. Paget's account, contact her and find out if she is interested in buying at the current market price, less our commission.
Mr. Nelson, I picked your car up 2 hours ago and have the tune-up finished, but your starting trouble comes from a broken choke element. Can't have it till 6:30, I'm afraid.
That's the craziest thing I ever heard. That's a new car.
Okay, whatever it needs. I'll be by at 6:30.
A new rectifier, ma'am, and she'll be like new.
Hello, Doctor. I've been waiting for your call.
Well, I've looked over the results of those tests we made. I don't see anything organically wrong
For
with
most
you.
preparations only lessen the gastric pain. Danitol acts 6 ways.
If you don't feel better by the first of next week, give me a call.
Say, gang, be the first in your block to get this exact replica of the Navy intercontinental missile. Be the first to launch one in your neighborhood. Have your mom ask the grocer for Super Energy Corn Friskies.
Look here, Dalton, I've told you before. This here hotel's reserved for us ranchers when we're in town. Now, as any fool can see, I'm a rancher and I'm in town.
It's an orphan, they're a treat. Crinkle crunchies can't be beat.
And now it's time for another exciting episode in the adventures of Anthony.
The strongest men break when they try to battle with fate. Now let me see. Yes, you'll need a bit of tailoring, that's the first thing. And then, Tony, did you hear me? Anthony! Huh? I said you needed completely new and different clothes. I shall arrange with my tailors to...
You remind me of Mr. Bonnefeller. The first time I met him, he thought I needed clothes, too.
Oh, and did you?
As I recall, I was stark naked.
My boy, you haven't stopped to figure out yet that life is just a series of sensations. Some to be desired, others to be avoided. That's all that matters.
All right, Marty. It's time for bed.
For instance, at this moment, you and I are riding comfortably in a carriage, enjoying ourselves, while over there in that courtyard, the poor...
About the headaches, the hair falling out, and those nitroglycerin.
Oh, no, Carl. Not now. Have a little head from our binge. Do you mind putting the light out?
No. Georgie, we're going to go places together. I'm going to work hard for you and give you all the things you should have. Make you proud of me.
I have everything I want. And I am proud of you. Very proud.
You weren't afraid, were you?
No. I'm never afraid when I'm with you.
Then why should I be?
last 10 minutes.
Well, that's enough. Well, you just making a glutton out of you. It was nice seeing your friends, wasn't it?
Very nice.
Was his news important?
Might have been once.
But now?
So I think that was a student film from University of Southern California, and there's a part in the middle of it where he's at work and there's all this phone calls and things, and what the mother's being exposed to is it really resonated with me as being similar to THX 1138, the George Lucas film. And George Lucas went to University of Southern California and actually did THX as a student film, and then got money to make it a bigger thing. But there's just that whole intercutting of the audio and the mix, just kind of, there might not be any connection whatsoever, but it could be that George saw this film and was like, Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in today. We do love you. It might be, as someone chimed in, anytime that there's a film that has a title that's a question, the answer is usually no. And no, I have not told you guys that I love you. But thanks for tuning in today. Thank you, Nathan, for the coffee. I'm going to email you regarding the provenance of Uncle Smiley. I won't take up time here talking about it, but just briefly, Jim Burroughs wrote it, wrote a bunch of the music, and it features his good friend Horace Glass, who, these are films about ecological things, and this is part of that early 70s look at ecology, and so anyways, well, maybe I just told you the whole thing, but thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow. Please rewind and love each other, including yourself, and we'll watch more films. Take care.